Okay, okay. The Mexican woman gets up. She's like, Los Tigres del Nortes. Don't fuck with me if you need a roof over your head. Our men run construction. Don't play with me. Mexican men run construction. You play with me, I'ma holla at Jose, and it's over for you. Everyone's like, okay, okay.
Peace, everybody, and welcome back to the Black Only News and Entertainment Network. The brother that you see on the screen there, that's Charles David Moody. He is an owner of Moody Construction, a black man who is literally building. Because they say that black men don't build anything, right? That black men don't build any infrastructure. This black man here is literally building. Now, what I really feel bad about when I do videos like this, because I'm normally reacting when I do videos like this. And what makes me feel so bad about doing videos like this is that I have to try to tell other black people, men and women, who say that black men don't build. I have to literally do videos like this to show them that black men do build, that black women do build, that us as a people, we have always built. But for some reason, there are black women like Femi from the chat, Cynthia G, a host of other black men and women who will tell you that black men don't build anything. When this black man here is literally building. And so the loss of his job was not his fault. The company that he was working for weren't paying their taxes, and so the IRS shut that company down. And you'll see that in this video here, he'll tell you that that day was his worst day, the worst day of his life, when in actuality it turned out to be the best day. But he'll be explaining that to you. Another thing I want you guys to take notice of in this video is that how his wife stood by his side. How his wife went out and got work until he was back up on his feet, which didn't take long. But she was willing to work to keep the family together. That is unheard of today. Today, a black woman, if he had went out, found him a good job, lost it, even at no fault of his own, that woman, in a lot of instances, society today, in a lot of instances, would call this brother a dusty. But anyway, guys, I want you guys to check out this video. This guy, again, owns one of the largest black-owned construction companies. And over the next couple of videos, I'm going to show black men in the construction field actually out doing the work, and also the owners of multi-million-dollar black construction companies. Because they say that black men don't build anything, right? Well, again, I'm showing you guys that that's a bold-faced lie. And if anybody tells you that, you can reference them over to my channel to check out these videos I'm going to be doing over the next few days. Anyway, guys, let's get into this.
Hoping I could get $10 out of the ATM machine to eventually, I was running $60,000 a week in payroll. I grew up in the 60s. I grew up on the south side of Chicago. The older boys had these little drafting boards that they would take to the local high school. And back then, most of them became draftsmen. I had never even heard of architect. But I was one of those kids who played with Lego building blocks, erector sets, and just, I just loved building. 15 or was 16, I met my first black architect, David Berg. He became my mentor. He graduated from Hampton back in the 40s. I started thinking I was going to be an architect. I graduated from Howard and with a 5-year professional degree in architecture in 1981. So I went back home to Ann Arbor, Michigan, to the Ann Arbor, Michigan office in the nuclear power division as a staff architect. And this is when you actually had to draw every day. Had a parallel bar, sat on a stool and a drawing table, and just a gang of drawing tables. And what happened was they asked for an architect to go to the job site on a nuclear power plant. So nobody volunteered. I raised my hand. And I went to this nuclear power plant. I had never seen anything of this size, but it was thousands of people working on it. It was this constant movement, and that's when the construction bug bit me. So I took my knowledge of architecture and went in the construction side. So 1983, we moved back to Atlanta, so we're 27. I get this job with this small company. My wife's never lived anywhere but Michigan. I said, baby, we're going down here. I got this great deal. This company, they said I could move up and all this stuff. And 2 months after I get here, that company goes bankrupt. Company is not paying its payroll taxes. I'll never forget that day. The IRS agents came in, told us we had 5 minutes to get our stuff. We couldn't walk out with anything other than our stuff, and they padlocked the place, shut it down, locked it up. So now I got to go tell my wife of less than a year of marriage, I no longer have a job. My great idea has blown up. We went from doing okay to struggling. I started working for some small companies, and it was some tough times. Now, what I thought though at the time was my worst day actually became my best day, because I probably never would have went in business for myself if that hadn't happened, because I had planned on locking on with that company.
We met at age 16. We started dating at age 19. And got married at age 26. And now we're going on 38 years of marriage. Subscriptions to magazines, you name it, I had it. I could tell you back in the day, I could tell you how many pizzas we ordered within a year, how much we spent on the pizzas, how much we spent on entertainment, how much we spent on eating out. And by keeping those kinds of budgets, it makes you able to, if you run into a hard time, it makes you able to cut that budget and get yourself back in line. It was scary, really scary, because we had just moved into a townhouse over in College Park. So when he came home and he was like, he just had this look on his face, and I was like, what's the matter? And he's like, the job got shut down. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, the job got shut down. They came in and shut down the job, and I don't have a job. And I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do now? What happened was after they closed that one, he went to another job and another small firm, and he worked there for a while, and we needed another income. So I went to nursing because I thought if he's not working, I can pull double shifts. I could do other things, to keep us rolling until we, started doing better. That lasted a little while, and then he was working with that guy, and he met someone else, a guy named George Brown. And he went to work for him at Gerardwin Construction. And he was working for him, and unfortunately, Mr. Brown passed away, had a heart attack and died. And so the people came to him and said, can you finish the job for us? You've been on it, can you finish it? And so he said yes, and so he finished it, and from there, he started the business. But I never thought it would get as big as it did. Really, I never thought it would get this big.
years before I actually believed this was going to maybe work. But I never thought I'd be doing it 32 years. From where I started, I just didn't want to fail. You know, we're one of the top black general contractors in the country. And we're doing some of the biggest jobs that black contractors have ever done in the country. I pinched myself because, again, I'm that C student guy who just wanted to have a job. I never dreamed I'd be doing what I'm doing today and looked at as one of the top in the industry, especially as a black contractor. Our company, we do about 50, 60 million a year. Currently, right now, we're working on actively 7 projects. My greatest accomplishment, it's not all the buildings. In 32 years, I've never missed a payroll. Never missed a payroll. Never shorted anybody in their pay. And that's not easy to do in business. There are often times I just sit, give thanks to God, give thanks to my wife, Carla, because I wouldn't be where I am without her.